Happy Halloween, ghouls and ghosts and goblins. It's that time of the year. Yup, it's October. Vampires, we all know them. They're really cool. A strong S on the Halloween monsters tier list. Vampires on paper look kind of weak, especially when you look at their list of weaknesses from all sorts of vampire media. Weak to sunlight, that's pretty bad in real life, but a very strong situational weakness that can be worked and ridden around. No problems there. Can't see their own reflection, not exactly a weakness, but alright. A stake through the heart, yeah, I think that would kill most. Silver bullets? Okay, yeah, same idea. Garlic, oh wow. They have to have permission before they can enter your house. Oh, wow, that's fucking bad. What if we just, took away all these weaknesses? Wouldn't that make vampires way cooler?
You! Keep talking.
Slayer, the refined gentleman vampire that's been in Guilty Gear since 2002's Guilty Gear XX. A fan-favorite character for his fun for the whole family, sensible, ground-based footsies that Guilty Gear is known for. We got a lot to go through for this big man, so let's just get started. Slayer was introduced in Guilty Gear XX, although some of his concepts and ideas were buzzing around earlier. Originally, Soul was going to be a vampire, but obviously these got separated out, which is probably part of why these two were kind of intertwined in the story, but we'll get to that. Okay, check this shit out. Again, say thank you to the Guilty Gear wiki. Some of them were translating this magazine from 2003, and we got a whole page on how Slayer was designed, along with the rest of the XX cast. Straight from Daisuke Ishiwatari from Character Designer Magazine issue 1 from fall 2003, translated by Soul Rad Guy. Thank you very much. I wanted to bring out a character that fights with their bare knuckles again. Guilty Gear is a flashy game that can be played in a very exhilarating way, even if you're just mashing buttons haphazardly. Of course, there's some strategy to it, but there wasn't a character that could do that while still giving weight to each powerful punch. When we were thinking about the types of fighting games that we really like, one that came to mind was a traditional old-school game that emphasized the importance of a single well-timed read. We wanted to create at least one character like that, and we realized if we gave them a longer weapon with reach, the impact of their attacks would feel too loose. So we decided to have them use their bare hands. I then wondered to myself what kind of character could work like that, and an image came to my mind. He would be a villain like in an anime, and he would wear suits. But he could fly through the air and destroy buildings with his fists. Back when I first imagined it, I thought this idea was pretty cool and stylish. Since then, I've had the idea in my mind that an older guy fighting with his bare hands must be able to do that kind of thing. It's been an unforgettable picture kept within my heart for a very long time, and that's how the character of Slayer was formed. However, if he had ordinary bare hands, it would end up being too big a question about who this guy was. So to be honest, it wasn't until a bit later that I added that he was actually a vampire. After that was approved, I incorporated the cross into the design. Daisuke Ishiwatari. Let's start off simple with the Guilty Gear XX story mode. That's the original story mode seen in every game up to Accent Core. That's right, I kinda figured this whole thing out. Thank you to K1PM for the footage. This is a weird-ass game to get the arcade mode endings for. Slayer starts off with him talking to Kai. He then talks to Potemkin, already dropping stuff about his relationship to Gabriel, the guy that Potemkin reports to. He's the president of Zep, and even though he's never been playable, they just casually imply that this guy is like the strongest human on Earth. Slayer is the leader of the Assassin's Guild, this big evil organization that Melia, Zato, and Venom are all a part of. And they're behind a lot of the big events in the series, like killing Chip Sensei Master Tsuyoshi, and later revealed events like ruining Faust's life. The endings are a bit interesting though. The first one, since Zato in this game is dead and it's just his little shadow guy Eddie controlling his corpse, Slayer wants to put his good friend to rest. And Eddie, looking for a new body since Zato's is currently being eaten by flies, wants to take the body of Slayer's wife Sharon. In Slayer's story mode, he obviously stops this, and then play the fucking sound effect of him going like But in one of Eddie's story mode paths, he actually hops on her body and he fucking melts. Sharon has never actually been called a vampire, she's just fucking weird. She can't die. Every type of bacteria or disease type thing just instantly fucking dies once it touches her.
Bruh, he was dead, bruh.
She's just immortal. She's just literally built different. They've never explained this, and I kinda love that. She's just as powerful as Slayer, but she just doesn't care for fighting and likes standing there and drinking tea instead. Every time Slayer wants to do his cool party trick of drinking her blood, she's just fine with it. They probably have the healthiest marriage in the series. They've never killed each other like 3 times, or froze her in time beneath a castle, or tried to develop Stockholm Syndrome in each other, or anything like that. They're just fine and happy together. How lovely. Slayer's second ending has him fight Venom, who took over the Assassin's Guild after Slayer gave it to Zato, who died, and then he gave it over to him. The Assassin's Guild has apparently gone to shit under Venom, and Slayer just tells him he thinks that the guild should be dissolved. In one of Venom's endings, he, fucking just seals Slayer in this big-ass fucking coffin? Venom, where the fuck did you find chains that could keep this motherfucker contained?
One of Satan's greatest
soldier.
This dude can punch you to space. In ending 3, Slayer fights Soul and Ino, and then he talks to that man about life. Slayer says that that man living only for atonement is dumb and then chalks it up to human nature. Yay. Slayer's stage in XX is just named Castle and has this cool skeleton guy chained up in the background. Castlevania. Listen, I'm so sorry. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia was the last Castlevania DS game, releasing in 2008. I played it on the new Castlevania Dominius collection, and for some reason it's displayed first on the list in reverse chronological order, which now, looking back at it, I assume is solely done for the first thing you see to not be Dawn of Sorrow's ugly, horrible Toonami art style. The game's not a traditional Metroidvania, but instead everything is split up into levels, probably to be more easy to pick up and put down since it's on the DS. It's not that big of a deal, honestly, not my preferred way to do things, but the game is designed around it, so it's alright. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. My problem is that Shinoa is made out of fucking glass bones and paper skin in this game. You have triple digit health, but everything is gonna deal like 50 to 80 damage, even the tiniest stupid birds. And it's not like I was underleveled or anything. I went out of my way to get the super platinum diamond armor or whatever it is, which is a pain in the ass since you gotta go just farm enemies, and good luck even knowing which enemies are gonna drop the stuff you need without a guide. Go grind, loser. But yeah, everything still just melts poor Shinoa. And I don't know why. Like why is her defense so low? Is it misogyny? Do they think women are fragile? I don't fucking know. You telling me Soma Cruz can take all this shit just fucking fine, but Shinoa fucking dies? What are you saying, Mr. Konami? I think the older games used like actual hitboxes with like different values for getting hit by an actual attacker if you just walked into them, which this game just straight up doesn't do, and it's incredibly annoying since a lot of the time you'll use this dive kick or something and you'll just trade and take like 1,000,000 damage. Why did they just step back from it? It makes no sense. Healing items are also just like non-existent in this game, and they're so expensive. You practically need the late game room that just makes money not a problem at all before you could even get like real healing items, or else you'll spend your entire wallet on like 3 to 4 potions that'll just disappear after like 30 seconds of traversal. And it's such a shame, since this game would be really solid if it just wasn't bullshit difficult. I used the rewind way more than I wanted to because I just got fed up with its fucking bullshit. Like the boss design, the artwork, and especially the voice acting. I really like this goofy voice acting. And everything else would be great if it wasn't getting fucked 6 ways to Sunday, but motherfuckers at Somewhere Alucard could just melt by breathing on them. But then the craziest thing happened after I finished the game, because I went to Dawn of Sorrow, and after fighting for my life for over a dozen hours in Ecclesia, this one was so easy. These dudes were doing single-digit damage and had the exact same movement and attack speeds as their Ecclesia versions. All of them just went to the gym in 2008, I guess. I didn't finish Dawn of Sorrow though, since I got lost and I just got busy with stuff. I'll probably finish it up sometime, or maybe I'll just play Portrait of Ruin. I wrote that before I played Portrait of Ruin. I actually have played it, and it's my favorite out of this collection. Okay, anyway, back to Slayer. That was a short tangent this time, right? It was only 600 words instead of half the video. Slayer is ready for retirement, although retirement is a bit different for vampires. This never really comes back in Accent Core's and Schrodinger's canon purgatory, so not entirely sure about all this, but vampires and all the ghouls and creeps have a little pocket dimension place that most of them have gone to and left Earth behind. In this story mode, he wants to say goodbye to everyone, so we go through Melia, Soul, Abba, and Para, Venom, and Potemkin out of respect for Gabriel. There's also a split path here where if you use an insta-kill on Soul, you'll go and fuck up the Post-War Administration Bureau and blow up Crow's Justice clones, and he gets all mad and complains about old people because he's a big baby. And then he kills Ino for Asuka because, you know, why not? We don't actually get to see the pocket dimension thing in Slayer's routes, but in one of Zappa's endings, Slayer misunderstands him and Esco as dating, so he takes both of them to the Shadow Zone or whatever the fuck it is, and we get a glimpse of some spooky guys. We got fake Dracula, Oogie Boogie after he lost weight, Golem from Castlevania Judgement, Cyclops guy.
Purple stuff!
Zappa's a big scaredy cat.
Dumbledore asked calmly.
But even Esco is looking a little out of her comfort zone here. Sharon, though, is just chilling. She's got no problems. There was a thing saying that this was like the link between Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, because in BlazBlue there's also vampires and they also have their little own pocket dimension type thing. I don't really know enough about BlazBlue to say anything concrete. But regardless if they did have anything quote-unquote real planned for this, besides it just being, you know, a little potential Easter egg, it never turned out. This little pocket dimension thing isn't even really mentioned outside of Accent Core. There is some bullshit about it in Happy Chaos's Arcade Route and Strive, but it's kind of vague. It's not important, I guess. But one of Faust's endings in Accent Core, Slayer asks him if he wants to go to the Phantom Zone thing, and he says no, and the last line of that route is, quote, "The world is vast," and then in Faust Strive Stage 9 arcade ending, he also says, "World is vast. So like that ending is canon, I guess. That's like one of the only things that they've like definitively said from Accent Core is canon, and even then it's like what the no, it's such a small detail. That's just like, you know, like a hard allusion to it. So that's like two kind of pieces of evidence towards this still being a thing. But also all that stuff about Slayer being the last one to leave was just wrong and retcon because they didn't make Nago yet. But also maybe he thought Nago left because he was buried underground by Happy Chaos and fucking Schrodinger. Yeah, let's get out of here. If they use this as the big plot excuse for when they make Guilty Gear Cross Blaze Blue, then, you know, like, so be it. Slayer's second ending, if you, used an insta-kill on Soul Bad Guy, and when given the prompt by Anji, picked the second dialogue option, and or kill Venom with an insta-kill or super. Don't you love that inconsistency? Dude, I'm losing my mind looking at these flowcharts. What the Anji questions whether Slayer is really ready to retire. If you say no, Slayer then fights Baiken, and he feels really reinvigorated after that and wants to make a new fight club with Baiken as deputy director. And he also says they're gonna fight the Post-War Administration Bureau for fun. Look at all these special guys in the ending artwork. Cool-ass designs right here. Alright, we talked enough XX lore. I'm gonna pass it over to our lovely guest for this episode for his first segment, Lucid Button Masher, fellow YouTuber and longtime Slayer main. Take it away.
Thank you, Toxic Pyro, for having me on here. My name is Lucid Button Masher. I make a lot of Guilty Gear videos, specifically with Slayer in mind. 6P, I mean Slayer, is a vampire that can anti-air the floor and loves his wife. Showing off this dandy monkey is how I started my YouTube crayon-eating following. So let's start with the oldest relevant Slayer appearance, shall we? So this game, Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R, real title, I started Slayer in Exert, which is a way more accessible version than this guy. In this game, he is not an easy character to just pick up and play consistently, though off the bat he does have a seemingly easy game plan. For every game he's in, Dandyism is used to bob and weave in neutral and absolutely bully with his plus frames and good Oki on offense. Don't press and you'll explode is kind of his thing.
Oh, that was sick!
Block too long and get hit? Well, risk exists for a reason. Then he step S for pressure, also staggers on counter hit. S into H to catch the mashing. Usually whiff, then he step S and then go into the overhead or go low to mix them up. High, low, can also use bite, his command grab, restores a little bit of health. Doesn't give those cool counter hit properties just yet though. You could just go straight into the overhead with H, just like with Strive. Dandy Step K for your anti-air and crosswise heal, leads to an air combo, or you can do 5H Mappa if you want a harder combo. Or P for Pile Bunker to hopefully kill them, the moneymaker. Or D Pile Bunker for 25 meter for the enhanced Pile Bunker, gives a nice wall stick, usually pick up with 2P if they're low, and if they're high enough, go for a 5H instead. Also, it's basically safe on block, meaning you can just do it again. He also has a lot of neat movement tools like his teleport dashes, can really facilitate his lethal left-right mix-ups. But let me introduce you to S and H Dandy instead. It goes a set distance and it turns you around to face your opponent. It can be mostly a gimmick, but with D Pile Bunker, it is a nigh unreactable nightmare. Speaking of real threats, 6P. It just beats everything, and I've tested it. Go watch it. Amazing anti-air and combo tool. Just glance at my channel, you'll see the miracles that it can perform. But besides 6P, his buttons are a real challenge. This is because he's entirely a Link-based character, even for his air combos. So if you're a Street Fighter fan, you should be playing him first. The trick with him is to learn the timing of the 5K, because you can link it into itself over and over, and this is like the exact same timing as all of the other links. The close slash, far slash, close slash, far slash is a tough link at first, but once you get it down, it is worth that bread and butter damage. Luckily, you can just spam 2H because it is just as good as Strive's. 6K is your universal overhead, pretty fast, links into 5K anywhere, and close slash on crouching hit. It's also +5 on block. This also applies to It's Late, the overhead from Dandy Step. Same idea. That's right, like Street Fighter, you're looking for crouching confirms as well. The 6K feint is back, and you can use it to kind of fake out your opponent, go low or bite. But this feint is also given to Mappa and also 5D for some reason. I'd use 5D for the Impossible Dust combos, of course, so it, of course, is the thing you gotta look out for. But the 5D feint, come on. Anyway, in the corner, 6K, 5K, 6P, FRC can absolutely decimate your opponent's health bar for only 25 meters. Alright, FRCs are 25 meter during certain frames of a move to cancel the recovery entirely, and of course extend combos. not to be confused with the D moves like D Dandy and D Pile Bunker, which are also 25 meter. So D Dandy for the 12 frames invincible reversal using any of your follow-ups, and of course, fuck you damage with D Pile Bunker. It's like a free BDC for 25 meter. Or of course, use Big Bang Upper, the king of meter dump if you really want to play Don't Let the Balloon Hit the Ground with a defenseless girl. Also has 13 frames of upper body invuln with a blazing 10 frame startup for such a powerful punch. And of course, this allows for 1 frame juggles off of a counter hit 2D, if you can land it. Mappa, the rush in punching move, also with the ability to feint it if you hold the button to get those cheeky grabs. You can also juggle with Mappa because of its massive hit stun properties if you hit him in the air. Undertow is an armor move, so it's really great for going through their pokes, and of course bursts, and just continue your onslaught. It's also a combo tool in the corner after a 5H for your best routes, a lot of damage. Footloose Journey exists. It's fine to end like an air combo with, but it foregoes a knockdown, so you can use it for movement, I guess. Kind of niche for me in this game. Right, so the air links, you're gonna need them. Like on the ground, JK links into itself and needs a particular timing to go into JD. Practice on Bridget, crosswise heal, jump K, delay K, and then see if you can land it. You can make it easier though by canceling JK into J2K, but you still have to link JD after the J2K. So if you think you can link into something, you probably can if you try hard enough. Undertow, super jump JH into JD, hot undertow 6H here, which is a 1 frame link I believe. 6H, IED, JK. The reland stuff you can do, it's just so much fun. So of course, backdash has iframes, and you can jump cancel them into specials and keep that invulnerability. Have you heard of this before? So backdash cancel your Mappa for a safe hit, Dandy Step for more iframes, or even the bite for a true invincible reversal command grab. Or of course, just practice backdash jumping on wake up, block in the air, it says strive, you got FD. Of course, just never block with Slayer, that's the meme. Do the meme. Just be wary of his matchups. So the matchups are mostly fine, just zoners do have a little bit of an edge because you don't have a traditional run and your air movement is kind of limited. You can't even transfer your dash momentum like in later games. So in this case, utilize your S and H Dandy to catch them slacking. Eternal Wings is a 50 meter reversal, of course good for being invincible, but you do have backdash cancel and D Dandy already for easier options, cheaper as well, so kind of just use Eternal Wings as a combo tool, or just backdash cancel dead on time instead, your other super. The one, the frame 0 startup, if they're close enough, can be FRC to be either safe or extend your combo and absolutely murder them. On its own, it's not invincible, but that's what BDC is for, so GG, shake my hand. Straight down Danny is a good combo ender, really good no matter where you are on the screen. Plus you can make it hit twice if you hit the sweet spot for it, and I say this a lot, delete the health bar. Get rid of it. Just edit it out. Just swap it away. His instant kill is the debut of his haikus, and each color that you pick, it actually changes the art for it, which is really nice. You won't see many IKs outside of like a slow mashing opponent, or the ABBA matchup, of course, but it's really nice. Just like Slayer and Plus R, he's tough to kind of get a handle on, especially with the links, but you are rewarded with satisfying damage and combo extensions you didn't even think you could land because, hey, you hit that link. Congrats. Anyway, back to you, Pyro.
What a cool setup for a character. He's just an immortal vampire hanging out, chilling with his also immortal wife and giving out guidance to whoever needs it. I can't wait to see how he evolves in the next game. Yeah, so slight problem for a video like this. Most of the other characters I made videos on who have appeared in more than one game have had some kind of, like sweeping evolution across their appearances. Like Bedman straight up dies, Faust goes from showing his face to donning a paper bag and then looking like a horror movie monster, and even ABBA had picked up a new hairstyle and color, and Para got a new form. Meanwhile, Slayer is just the same fucking dude. Did Strive take cues from Slayer's vast edge design, the fucking slot machine? Slayer more than anyone has what I call Saturday morning cartoon syndrome, or just status quo for literate people. A lot of other fighting games kind of do this thing, like E Honda and Street Fighter. Like, no matter what happens, he's just gonna be doing the same thing because he has an external function. People love him. Allegedly, I haven't seen anyone personally, but I'm sure they're out there. He serves a gameplay function. In Street Fighter 7, if they do bring back E Honda as like a fucking zombie or something, that would be awesome, but that's not gonna happen because this type of character isn't really made with that type of evolution in mind. If they actually committed to that, it would probably just come off as really edgy for no reason. If we don't have him doing this, then what the fuck else is he gonna do? At least with E Honda, they gotta show him like aging and shit with the rest of the cast, but Slayer, that's already solved. He's gonna be punching really hard and loving his wife life until the sun explodes. But this actually makes her something unique. Unlike in Street Fighter, characters in Guilty Gear are constantly changing. So instead of the question being how will Slayer grow and evolve, it's how will Slayer react and interact with all the characters that are changing. And that's where the Assassin's Guild characters come in, Zato, Melia, and Venom as members of the Assassin's Guild and Slayer as the founder of the Assassin's Guild. These are the characters he interacts with most often. In XX, if any of these four are fighting each other, you get a special versus theme, and there were 3 whole drama CDs specifically about these 4, and some bonuses like Slayer checking in on ABBA and Paracelsus. And Robokai fucking around. Not gonna go too much into the drama CDs since it's a drama CD only released in Japanese. There's not really much I can do visually or auditorily to show it off. The translations of it are on the Guilty Gear wiki if you want to read it. It's very interesting if you care about any of these 4. Slayer himself doesn't do that much here. It's a prequel to XX, and Slayer himself just kind of reiterates his XX ideas of thinking the Assassin's Guild has gone astray, and also doubles down on the fact that he could do shit like intervene and solve problems, but he just chooses to just kind of sit back and observe, motherfucker. Okay, before excerpt, any other side media we want to get out of the way? Judgement? Oh, okay. Overly exaggerated gulp sound. Dust Strikers? This game fucking sucks ass. Oh, that's where the fucking, Anji I'm interested in guys 2 image comes from.
What did he say?
That's the only thing of note in this fucking shitty ass piece of shit fucking... Okay, what else? Ooh, look at you, Vast Edge, everyone's favorite little jokey man. Oh, you care about Guilty Gear, Lord. There's a cannon pachinko machine. Did you know that? Do you know what happens in the cannon pachinko machine? Yes, I do, except not off the top of my head. Hold on. Guys, what does Slayer do in Vast Edge? It dies. Punches really hard and gets his ass kicked by Soul Bad Guy. In all honesty, I think he does as much as Bridget and Melia do. Nothing. Okay, good.
Guilty Gear Exile.
Ooh, Sharon's eyes are purple now. They were gray before. October 6th, 2187, Slayer's at his mansion when he gets a letter saying that Zato 1 is alive, and not only that, he's been resurrected.
Could mean a new dawn for mankind, or a new nightfall. Sharon, would you care to take a stroll? I've a great many questions that need answers.
Of course. I'll always be at your side.
I already mentioned this in the useless Guilty Gear Facts video, but Sharon in the English dub and also everyone else in the English dub went uncredited, but it's probably Tara Platt, Milia's VA, because it's literally the same voice.
That's impossible. At least without resurrection.
You can run. I won't mind.
Also, if you're wondering how we know that Tara Platt is Milia and Ino in the English dub of Excerpt Sign, all the playable characters got their roles confirmed by Behind the Voices and other actors and sites like that that just check the resumes. Also, Tara Platt voiced Milia in Strive, where she was credited. While we're talking about voice actors, let's not just brush over JB Blanc as English Slayer. Half British, half French man doing a Scottish accent. We're just bouncing all over Europe, and it's a fantastic voice for him in English. Love it.
Cease this pointless charade. I want to see the real you. Sharon, stop! Put down that sword!
Story mode. Slayer's not really a main player in this, but he gets his moments. Him and Bedman have a really cool fight, and Slayer actually loses for like the first time ever. Throughout Excerpt Rev 2, Slayer gets genuinely pissed at him losing to a bedridden, sick, weak little Reddit child, and he's just gonna get really psyched up to fucking kick his shit in the rematch. Oh, also it's revealed that Slayer was the one who gave Soul Bad Guy his name of Soul Bad Guy. Leo reads a book about it, and it's written by Iritmavs D. Yerd, spelled that backwards, and it reads, you guessed it, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes for Steam, Switch, PS4, and PS5. It's a big puzzle game that you play as Lorelei and go explore a big fuck-off mansion collecting keys and solving puzzles. I am not sponsored, I just really want to tell people about this game. It's been like one of my favorite games from this year. Toe-to-toe with Metaphor Refantasio and UFO 50 and Balatro. It's Resident Evil with no monsters, there is no combat, there is not a single enemy in this game that wanders around and attacks you. You can take as much time as you want. Get a pencil and paper and write down a bunch of notes and check it out. If you like Ace Attorney and Killer 7 and Ghost Trick and Signalis, please check it out. This is my random bullshit of the video. Before we go to Rev 2's story section, let's pass it back to Lucid to talk about Rev 2 Slayer's gameplay.
Ah yes, Guilty Gear Exard, Rev 2. Exert Slayer is a great balance between plus R and Strive, because he's not as technical as plus R, but he does have a good balance of diabolical what you can do with not as many links. So sadly no S or H Dandyism to use, but you can kind of like jump cancel the startup once you pass them to kind of achieve the same thing, sort of. It's like a forward dash cancel. To make up for this, you do have the new forward long dash you could use to cross up your opponent around start and just kind of vary the distance whenever you move forward. Kind of makes up for his limited ground movement they had in Plus R and dash momentum. Nice. So system change, no more 25-meter things like the invincible reversal, the deep pile bunker, force breaks, FRCs, all gone. You cannot use 25-meter anymore. You do have to BDC jump or BDC cancel punch or any of the other options here, of course, instead of blocking. Still no grounded Gatlings, but also kind of sadly not as many links as Plus R. Close slash, far slash, close slash, far slash is still a thing, but no 5k ad infinitum. But close slash is now 5 frame startup compared to the 7 it was in the other game, so that link is a little easier, and you could actually use it as a true cross-up move, since 7 frames cross-up in the last game is a bit slow. This game, 5 frames is fast. This also lets you do close slash after a 2k for an actual threat in a high-low situation, and you can even cancel 2k into special moves now. Sacrifice some, gain some others. Speaking of, 2H launches now, which is not great. Only useful in the corner for combos or if you have meter, so it's no longer spammable. 6P is still goated. Of course it is. I'm saying this right now, and before I even record it, I know I'm currently 6Ping a jam doing Ryujin right now. And again, I've tested its effectiveness just like with Plus R against all these supers, so go look at that. Never doubt this button. Anti-air the floor. In this game, at least Bite is on a half circle back motion instead of the core circle forward in Plus R, and it's arguably easier to backdash cancel now. Plus, this is where the famous counter hit property on Bite comes from. It does not work on normals, only special moves, but this lets you kind of do a special move in the middle of a combo for a free counter hit, combo extension, and hey, if you make Footloose Journey actually useful. A few moves act differently than Plus R, like 6H no longer ground bouncing, but can be used as a frame trap now, and 5H is no longer a ground slide, but it's more like an air combo starter. Congrats! Slayer now has air Gatlings. The closest thing to air linking is coming out of J2K for another button, but really it's nowhere near as crazy as Plus R. Maybe get like a reland here and there, but it's not as common. Sadly, very little Mappa air hit stun, so only specific setups will really let you link out of it. Otherwise, the Mappa is roughly the same, just no feint, only punch. What is different though is P and K pile bunkers. They actually serve different purposes now. K giving a wall splat every time you're near the corner, and P just knocks down. Even the counter hits are different between both. P actually gives a wall bounce no matter where you are, and then K gives a full ground tumble. And that tumble will let you confirm from nearly anywhere as long as you have meter. Sometimes you don't even need meter because you have that long dash now, so crosswise heal, mostly the same. Of course, good anti-air with now air Gatlings for easier confirms. This time you're forced to do under pressure to get to its late. You can't just do it raw anymore, but at least under pressure is now 0 on block, no longer negative, and you can still whiff it on the knockdown to go for that usual high-low mix that you're used to. So no FRCs this time around, but the 25-meter thing I did lie about. There is a YRC, I'm sure you've heard of it. Don't believe what they say, you can use it as Slayer. You don't need a projectile to use YRC. Use it for Helter Skelter, it is considered a projectile for an insane amount of plus frames. Not that Helter needs any help. This pre-Master's Hammer move is already plus 12. Of course, it is exploitable if it is spammed, or you can use it for your Footloose Journey to actually get out of situations, carry the momentum. So yeah, it's useful than more than just combos. It's actually a movement tool. I would say Slayer uses RC more than YRC in this game to make things like pile bunker safe, or to get that perfect wall stick height if you're going for your pile bunker record. Also, 5D can be used mid-combo in this game, different from Plus R. Get a wall splat, more pile bunkers, get a knockdown. Hell yeah. Undertow is no longer a armored move, but you do compensate for it being unblockable. OTG setup's pretty common, wall splat setup's pretty common. Dead on time is mostly the same, save for the fact it doesn't wall stick on counter hit. It doesn't have an FRC anymore. But it's still a beast of a move and terrifying since it has 0 frame startup. If they're close enough, even go for those cross-ups with it, it's pretty messed up. Or of course, backdash canceled. Eternal Wings, 50-meter reversal, invincible. If you don't want to backdash cancel, go for it. It can be used to extend combos. That's pretty much it. Straight down Dandy is still a pretty good move, but its double hit setups are near non-existent. It is still the reason I picked up Slayer and Exert in general to begin with, is this clip, because
Why did that do so much damage?
first time seeing it, you're like, well, what the fuck did me, you know? It also only knocks down now, so there's no combo extensions afterwards. Instant kill is more practical in this game, but only if you have 50 meter and most likely 100 meter and it's at the very last round of the game. It can be practical and better than most supers, but really just use the super instead, or burst super in this case. They'll be less salty afterwards. You press, you die. You don't press, you build up risk and die. Same idea. It's peak fiction to me in this game because of how easy he is to pick up and just kind of shit out damage, and maybe sink 1800 hours into Exert and maybe look into Plus R and play him there and have even more fun, so peak.
Okay, I thought I was exaggerating when I said Slayer in Rev 2 was just pissed at Bedman for beating him, but I rechecked over Slayer's arcade mode, and it's just him getting ready to beat the shit out of Bedman.
さて、これはド直球のリベンジマッチだ。古来からの習わしに従い。
Slayer's fight with Bedman is really cool though, it's super well animated and all that. Best moment for me easy is Slayer getting stabbed through the chest and just walking it off with a big old grin on his face. Go watch Xer's story mode if you haven't. Before we go on to Strive though, I want to spend a brief moment talking about Slayer's stage, Villa Vampire. XX's castle didn't really feel specific to Slayer, but Villa Vampire is literally just Slayer's mansion. GG World says it's full of traps and other devices meant to kill intruders or evildoers and to beware. We don't see any of that in the stage itself, but it is very funny to imagine that he booby-trapped his home, but he and his wife can just walk all of it off. The Xrd sign version of the stage is at night and has this giant gate blocking off the dining room, and it's at this really strange angle that's not aligned with the carpet at all, and it bugs me. But I like to think that it's here to prevent the fight from damaging any of Slayer's actual old antique furniture and whatnot. Jaren is out here and switches position between rounds, and also I never noticed this before, but in round 2, this big red shadow guy just appears over the paintings in the back, and I have no idea who or what this guy is. Really cool effect, I appreciate it. The Revelator version is during the morning and it's all destroyed. They don't say what happened here, but Slayer maybe just got really pissed after losing to Bedman. We get a much clearer view of the paintings this time, and wow, yup, that is a fancy-ass 17th century portrait of Slayer. You can see bats flying all around the place. Sharon isn't even using a chair anymore, she's using bats. And that evil red guy from before is gone, but in round 3 a bunch of bats swarm together and make this face before they all scatter. Still not really sure what its deal is, but it's cool. Really nice stage and then revamp. I wish you could play the sign stages in Rev 2 even as just like an unlockable or something, but eh. Alright, Strive! Slayer was added as the last character in Season 3. Now, what happens when you take the character known for doing a fuck ton of damage and put him in the game where everyone does a fuck ton of damage? Turns out, fork found in kitchen. Take it away, Lucid.
If you know me, you know Strive isn't my favorite of the series, but it did bring the drip back to Slayer for his return in Season 3, and actually got me enjoying Strive a little bit more. Even after 2.5 years of not playing, when I picked Strive back up with Slayer, I had no problem getting right back into it, just kind of exploding up the tower because he had easy damage, easy confirms. He was normalized like most characters in the game, kind of be given gatlings and everywhere, special cancels in the same place as everyone else. Kind of makes the game plan a lot easier. Not that I was thinking very much to begin with in the last games, but map it to get in from full screen and almost always being plus or at least even is kind of insane. It can now be canceled from a 6P and 2D, so it's just breaking the rules. Can even use it as a frame kill to do a meaty setup as well. The new Dandy Step property with P Dandy Step going forward is kind of like a combination of D Dandy but also S Dandy because it can swap sides. I definitely went through some stuff I probably shouldn't have with Dandy Step, especially since it has no invuln anymore. Having a low out of Dandy just kind of streamlined the process of whiffing Dandy Step S into a low, so it just kind of made sense. Master's Hammer is basically just Helter Skelter transferred into Strive, but now it guard crushes and is absolutely insane, but of course, just as exploitable. See, I was upset at first because you were forced to break the wall whenever you use Pile Bunker out of Dandy Step, but it does turn out you do have new tech called Pile Bunker Loop, so you can still do as many Pile Bunkers as you want. You just don't have to be next to the corner now. Of course, you can't backdash, and backdash cancel is removed entirely, so I was kind of Doomer at first, but luckily you do have Hand of Doom to kind of replace that. Of course, they did cave and give him gatlings on the ground and in the air. The air routes are, of course, very different since there's no longer J2K, but you have JD. However, they did retain the close slash, far slash, close slash, far slash link. That made me very happy. 6P was standardized to match everyone else's for fairness, but I was a little sad that the animation did change. But hey, at least you can still do 6P counter hit into Pile Bunker, so... Giving 2S a vacuum property to Slayer in not pot like he had in Plus R is just funny to me. 2S of course allows for Pile Bunker loops to even exist, and even pulls people out of the corner for even wackier mix no matter where they are. So yeah, Bite gives counter hit on everything. And of course you can combo into it from far slash, so that went about as well as you'd expect. But like I mentioned, the forward dash cancel stuff lets you do Carrot Bite, so that was pretty cool. Though its shouting universe is pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Really emphasizes that full vampire power in anything he does. Super Mappa Hunch, I don't know why they changed the name from Dead on Time, is fast and it can double hit, so it kind of combines the aspect of Dead on Time as well as straight down Danny with that double hit property. The 100 meter super is kind of a meme with how much damage it does, especially with the over the top animation, but I love it. Probably because of how crazy 2H is and how you can confirm into it. You'll either get a Pile Bunker loop or get a 100 meter super confirm, which I mean either of them you're just gonna die. So besides the unreal damage and his very simplistic game plan, which I did warn about in my fake Strive trailer for better or for worse, I still really do like his take on life. Loving his wife that he's dedicated to, even the lyrics of his song saying how it's okay to be the supporter in a relationship. As a hoping future house husband myself, I can't help but relate. Even if he changed significantly in a game I don't play, Strive Slayer let me have fun with the game again. And I think that's why he's peak fiction to me. I've been Lucid Button Masher. Check out my hundreds of other Guilty Gear videos and Slayer videos I put out. And in 6P, go in peace. Back to you, Pyro. Back to you, Toxic Pyro. Should I say Toxic? Can I call you Mr. Toxic? Anyway.
Alright, so Strive has a lot of interesting stuff for Slayer, and it mostly comes from giving Slayer a new buddy to play off of, Nagoriyuki, a fellow vampire that Slayer saved on the brink of death 700 years ago. Slayer didn't bother showing up for the story mode of Strive at all, except for the end credits. He wasn't invited to America. The arcade routes take place after Strive's story mode, by the way. Also, Sharon is voiced by Laura Stahl now in English, aka Ramwithal's voice actor.
Take heart and be strong, dear one. Overcome with emotion. Oh, how dandy.
Slayer and Nago meet up in the middle of Buddhist town. They fight and then pair up to travel and chat. Stage 7, they spar again, and they're really just two dudes reminiscing. And Slayer invites them over for drinks. Slayer 700 years ago was reckless, as he put it, and just bit Nago to make him a vampire on a whim. Interesting that biting still makes other people vampires, or can he, like, choose whether or not it makes them a vampire or not? Because, he bites a lot of people in gameplay. Should he be doing that?
Yo, no disrespect!
Nago seems pretty alright about being immortal now, and he wants to find his own path forward. Meanwhile, fucking Zato is just pissed that his dad has a best friend and wants attention. Because he's the true Dandyism master. Oh fuck, I never brought up Dandyism. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Okay, so Dandyism in Guilty Gear is a lifestyle slash philosophy slash mantra thing that Slayer, and by extension many of the Assassin's Guild characters, Zato and Venom especially, adopt. That, you know, I'll just let them say it actually.
For one, the iron will to keep one's life or death out of the bounds of consideration.
For two, the art of molding that iron will into shape and the pride that it brings.
For three, what truly decides a battle? Not will, pride, victory, life, or death, but that which delivers those in peril and preserves those in privilege. That is to say, Dandyism. Ah, very good.
Okay, so that's what it is in Guilty Gear. However, Dandyism is a real fashion movement from Britain and France in the 1800s, and I have no fucking idea why this in particular became the thing Slayer has. I don't think Daisuke has ever talked about this, at least I cannot find anything about it. It just is the thing for him, I guess. I wish I could give a more, like, interpretive explanation, but I really don't know. The word dandy is really fun, though, so we can hand it to the bourgeoisie on that one, I think. Zato is really weirdly animated for this arcade mode, which is just really funny, because he's supposed to be fucking dead and has no emotions, but he gets really upset when talking to his dad. I skimmed over it, but in excerpt while Slayer was training, Zato had a whole thing about him coming back from the dead could usher in a new era of enlightenment for the mortally challenged, which I'm telling you this as context for this fucking crazy line.
Think, but eternity really isn't all bad.
But most can't bear the passage of so much time. In which case, dying for a while may be an option. A reset on all worries. It really clears the head.
Oh, that may be.
Anyway, they fight, they make up, they call it a day, they go eat at Venom's bakery. Which, yeah, that seems like a good stopping point for the day. I kinda doubt this will get out before Venom releases, but we'll see. Overall, yeah, Slayer's fun. That's his whole point. While everyone else has to worry about the plots, it's nice to just have one guy that can do whatever the fuck he wants consistently. And what he wants to do is just chill with his wife for all eternity. Since we're wrapping everything up, I'm just gonna ask that if the anime does really well and gets renewed or gets a slice of life spin-off thing, that we get a Thus Spoke Kashibe Rohan type beat thing. I really want Slayer to just talk about some random bullshit that happened 400 years ago. Please. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you again, Lucid Button Masher, for coming on this episode. Please check them out, links in the description. That's right, we have a real end card thing now. That's because people who donate to my Ko-Fi page will get their name read out at the end of the next video to come out after their donation. Since this is the first time I'm starting this, I'm gonna read out everyone that's donated since the Aki video, those being Liz, Great Papyrus 626, Will T, Jorbelstein, and KAS. Thank you very much to everyone who has donated, it really helps me to make more of these videos.
I am breaking out the shitty microphone because I have just realized it is Jorbelstein. Stein, not Jorbelstein, like the fucking bears.
Also, I have a blue sky now. Not a big fan of the government.